Oh, shit. I thought we were doing a countdown.
I did 3, 2, 1 bazingers.
There was a countdown.
I mean, oh, never mind.
3, 2,
Sorry.
1 is the...
I'm thrown. You've thrown me. Hello.
Sorry.
Welcome to Windbreaker's podcast, everyone. I'm Yahtzee Crowshaw. I'm joined by Jay and Marty.
Hello, everyone.
Eric, our usual producer, is sadly can't be with us because he's having some technical issues. So you'll have to make do with us and not the little convenient little extra window showing all the stuff we're talking about.
No Toffee or Ludo Cam, no B-roll. I'm sorry. I'm the one hosting, so if anyone's volumes are too low or too high, just scream at me, and I will try to fix them. I promise you.
Yes. Or just fucking lump it. You fucking lump a lot of things in life, so you can fucking lump this as well.
I like the term lump it. I think that's nice.
And this week we're talking in the aftermath of pirate games such as trying to get all the elements of the title in order. Like a Dragon, Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Or was it? Oh, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Sorry, other way around. We just want to know, what is it that makes pirate games so good? Because Yakuza has sort of continued the circle that Assassin's Creed Black Flag completed, where they took a series that I was getting bored of, and Pirates suddenly created an installment that I really liked again, and reinvigorated my enthusiasm for the series, even if I preferred the part where it was being a pirate game and not the part where it was being all the usual shit.
Yeah.
Basically the exact same pattern, both franchises.
I think pirate games, you kind of hit the nail on the head. They have an ability to sort of, they're like a pirate subgenre is like a liquid that could be put in any vessel. And so,
right.
Like you said, Assassin's Creed, we're getting a little tired of that, and all of a sudden they throw Black Flag at us, and Nachi Machi, something's exciting there. JRPGs have had pirate curveballs that have really made them enjoyable. Something like Sea of Thieves, which I've described as just like unruly recess. It's like taking like a fucking hour-long outdoor recess in school. I mean, let's give them cannons and let's give them some hooch and see what happens.
I have a lot to say about Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
I think pretty much every JRPG has pirates in it.
Yeah, a pirate character, a pirate, like you go to a ghost ship, there's some sort of an air pirate. A handful of them, like Skies of Arcadia, which is in the art, is just a flat out pirate JRPG.
Well, my view, thematically speaking, is that pirate is like the one career that the moment you know that someone is a pirate, you automatically know that they have a very, very interesting life. I mean, I can't think of anything else. Maybe like someone whose job is to rescue avalanche victims. That might be up there as well. The pirate, you know, that they spend their lives staying one step ahead of the law. That they spend their lives sailing on a ship that is literally just a pile of wood and cloth. That is the only thing keeping them from dying a hideous death in the hideous, unforgiving ocean. And you also know that they have a great sense of fun. They like to get drunk and sing bawdy songs around the fire as they bury treasure.
Yeah, and some of those things even like it's there's something about pirates that pair really well with video game mechanics, and it might be part of it that they're at that like right point in history to where they use melee weapons and guns. And so it's like, okay, that's two things. That's melee combat and that's ranged combat. And then they just have a built-in vehicle in a pirate ship. And so it's like, okay, like all of the elements are immediately there. And then you're like, oh, they have a crew. So you have NPCs and there's animal critter pals that they can have. It's usually parrots, but in Yakuza Pirates, it's a tiger named Goro, who's wonderful.
So many bases covered. Yeah, the one sticking point is that the world that they navigate is the ocean. And as we learned from Windbreaker, the ocean is a whole lot of bugger all until you get to an island.
It can get
That's the interesting part, right? Because I've heard you describe yachts with Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, if that's the name.
I think you crushed it.
That one of the things you liked about Black Flag was the fact that you could move around on the ship, right? And do stuff.
Yeah.
Can you do that in Yakuza?
Yes, you can. You can switch from ship control mode to walk around on deck mode. You can go around interacting with all your individual crewmates and give them all bunches of flowers as a present. And that increases their morale. Yeah. They've all got individual morale stats.
Yeah, it is very romantic.
You can also craft party kits So that if there's a general morale problem, you can just throw a big party and everyone gets drunk and the morale goes up.
Yeah, it turns your pirate ship into like a just like a floating base to where you could do a bunch of the
like a hub.
Yeah, you can like cook there. You can talk to your crewmates and raise their morale and everything.
And as often the case, having a hub area can really create an investment in a place. I mean, the problem with Skull and Bones is that you couldn't walk around on your ship deck. You were either controlling
that problem. Yeah,
you were either controlling the ship or you were on land. It just sort of teleported from one to the other.
Yeah,
and that's not fun. That doesn't give you the immersive pirate experience of being on a ship.
Yeah, I'm surprised more people haven't immediately screamed at us that we said pirate games rule, and then probably one of the biggest flops of the past 2 years has been Ubisoft's quintuple-A pirate game.
But that's just because they were putting
didn't understand it, right?
No,
like,
they were just putting a thin veneer of piracy. They were putting a thin veneer of piracy on a pretty bog standard, crafty live service experience.
Can you guys describe to me what the sailing is like in Pirate Yakuza?
I would say very arcadey.
You push forwards and you go forwards, and then push left and right to go left and right.
Yeah.
You also have a boost button and a drift button for making quick turns.
Yeah, you can make real nice U-turns using your boost. So,
which is very handy in combat because, as we know, pirate ship combat is all about lining up your cannons with the enemy and then waiting for the cooldown so you can shoot them again.
Broadside. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, like you have specific weapons on the left, specific weapons on the right. Port and
so you can shoot
starboard?
Yes, so you can shoot one broadside, pull off a handbrake turn, and shoot another broadside. And it feels fucking sweet, as mentioned in my review.
I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in Sea of Thieves. And I've been planning a video on it for ages, but I think the thing that makes that and makes a lot of games is friction. So the act of getting from A to B in Sea of Thieves, there are so many obstacles in your way that require you to communicate. Like, say, if you're on a galleon, which requires multiple people to pilot, doing different roles, everything has to be communicated verbally to your crewmates, and everything, even down to just stopping the boat, is a multi-man job. Like, we need to stop at this island and you all need to communicate what to do. Handbrake turns using the harpoons on the front to do handbrake turns around rocks to get a one-up on the enemies. Like, the friction in the act of just moving is what makes that game entertaining for me. And I think that's what a lot of pirate games like Skull and Bones are missing. I think if you go not arcadey enough, I think like if you go super arcadey, it's just a mode of transport. But in between, if you're trying to do a pirate sim, you need that friction of the ocean because it's a dangerous place, right?
Yeah. Well, I think what you've hit upon there is the aspect of being part of a community that is also part of the pirate experience. Like in Sea of Thieves, you're working with other players as part of your crew. The way Like a Dragon does it, and this is something I enjoyed about it, is that you have a crew and every individual member of the crew is recruited individually. Usually from the Honolulu sandbox in like a little mini quest. Like you run into an NPC and it says, "Gosh, I'm so bored with life. If only someone who was really good at darts would come along." And you come along and throw 3 darts at the nearby dart computer and they go, "Oh, wow, you have like given me new lease on life. I want to, if you happen to be part of a community, I would really enjoy joining it and helping you out." And then you say, "Well, as just so happens, I'm the captain of a pirate crew." And then you can decide where to put each NPC. So you can put them in like the raid crew, you can put them on the cannon crew. And then when you do like the full-on big deck free-for-all fights with an enemy crew, you see all the NPCs you've recruited like leap onto the ship with you in like a big old like high-energy cutscene.
Yeah, and in standard standard Yakuza formula, they're all just like a bunch of weirdos. Yes. Like you'll have like hibachi chefs and fucking like someone whose name is pretty much Nicole Kidman. She's like an actress, and her name's like Kimol.
The names
Midman.
are a big thing in that game, aren't they? Right?
Yeah, dudes in mascot costumes, and as I say, this is what creates the sense of being part of a community. That they're all individuals, recognizable individuals. Where Sea of Thieves just has other players.
Yeah, but also like I think with Sea of Thieves, these systems kind of drive that in the sense of like the shanties when you pull out an instrument, you can play the songs together and stuff like that.
Now that we're talking about it, it really does seem to be part of the whole pirate an essential part of the whole pirate theme is being part of a crew. Because as you say, in Sea of Thieves and in Black Flag as well, your crew would sing shanties. You could tell them to sing shanties.
Yeah,
and it really felt like an important part of the experience. It certainly did to me. To the point that there's a whole side quest in Black Flag where you find new shanties for the crew to sing.
Also, like a pirate by themselves just seems sad to me.
Yeah.
Like it's just like really depressing.
themselves.
You just got like a feathers in your hat and a bird, and you're just in a small boat by yourself.
You also seem more like an asshole as well, right?
Yeah.
In solo, you're just a thief. But if you're in a band of thieves,
you're like,
honor,
you have found family.
Yeah, that's like the whole Robin Hood thing. That's wholesome.
Yeah,
and if you're just by yourself dressed up as a pirate, then you just look like someone dressed up. It's important that you be on a ship and be part of a crew, and then only then are you a pirate.
Yeah. That seems like the most important thing, like even more so than because, like Jay, you were mentioning that I feel like mechanics of a ship can range from super simmy, almost feeling like a truck simulator, like so nitty gritty and nerdy, to pretty arcadey, like I would say Yakuza is, to where it feels like you're, I don't know, controlling like a tank in GTA or something. Like you're able to, whip a shitty, and it's more about the arcadey fun of it than making you feel like you actually have to like hoist the like in Sea of Thieves. It took us several sessions to like understand like, so we got to raise these sails and lower these sails and curve these sails, and then oh god, there's flooding underneath the boat.
You have to like give each other roles.
Sure,
yeah.
I did a whole video a while back, Extra Punctuation, I think, discussing why I seem to automatically like any game where you're on a boat at sea. Mm-hmm. And I think part of the appeal of the pirate games is that when you're on a ship, there's this awareness that you're in control of a very sort of sophisticated piece of technology. The same appeal that comes from the Steel Battalion games, where I think there's a very masculine instinct at work there, where we just really like the feeling of being in control of a huge complex machine.
It's a huge complex machine that's also like a call to adventure out in the middle of uncharted waters, like finding your own fortune kind of thing.
I'm going to pitch a game right now, okay? It's a pirate game, but you're a land pirate, and you got a huge ship that's on wheels, and it's got a sail and everything else, and you've got your pirate crew, and you're on basically an open world sandbox along the lines of like a Zelda Hyrule, or maybe like the Baldur's Gate 3 world. And to get to places, you just like steamroll over villages and dungeons and stuff. And then you get off and say, the pirates are here. We're here to do your quests. And everyone's sort of got very mixed feelings about you at that point.
It's like you may have committed terrorism.
I did this. I ran a D&D game where there were a faction called the Spell Sails, which sailed giant galleons over sand dunes that used mage slaves in the bottom of the ship to levitate the ship. And my players got one of them, like an entire galleon. So I've kind of done this land pirate thing. So the sand's just a dry ocean, really.
Oh,
the entire world was a desert.
So what? Yeah. I have some questions for like how elastic is the definition of a pirate game? So you mentioned like a land tank and a crew. Metaphor ReFantazio has a land tank and a crew, and your ship kind of becomes your home, and you slowly accrue more crew members. Like, does that have a pirate feeling? Like what you were doing doesn't necessarily feel piratey.
Well,
but you present
you're not
piratey.
Pirates. You're not pirates. You're politicians on a campaign trail.
So
in that game.
So it's like a governor's bus going from city to city.
Basically, yeah.
November.
Okay, well, to go back to my video about why I automatically like games about ships, I think a lot of it is being on the sea.
Yeah,
because there is an inherent mystery to the sea. It's not like space, because in space, you go into space, you look around and you can see everything. Sure. Oh, there's the stars like millions of light years away. But in the sea, all you can see is the surface. Mm-hmm. Everything under it is a world of mystery and peril that you can't even explore before it starts killing you. And that's what makes
games
it
that
so
don't do anything
enticing.
with that. Yeah.
I know.
Games
I keep
that
saying
don't do anything with that suck.
Yeah, I know. I've said before, and like you get used like all-terrain sandboxes, like you just cause your GTA, where you can pilot, where you can use cars and boats and planes. The one thing you never have is submarines, and I would love a game like that where you can just get in a submarine and explore a whole new world at the bottom of the sea.
What open world games do good? Like, did Black Flag have you swimming down to the obviously not to the bottom of the ocean, but like down to lagoons and stuff?
It wasn't like the whole undersea was rendered, but there were like bits where you could swim to the very bottom of the sea and hunt for treasure while avoiding sharks.
Gotcha.
There'd be a little bottom of the ocean little area to explore.
Yeah, I guess Sea of Thieves was similar.
Bell.
It was kind of like instanced areas underwater.
It was very much along those lines. Because of course the trouble is if you rent an entire Under the Sea, that's a whole other game right there. That's Subnautica. That is.
Yeah.
You're basically having to make Subnautica.
Yeah, that's quite different.
Yeah. They added a lot more. They did a Pirates of the Caribbean DLC. They also did a Monkey Island DLC, which was really,
I remember
really
that. Like anything with pirates in it, just come one, come all.
Yeah, and they're really well done. But they added a lot more underwater stuff into those DLCs, and I really appreciated those. Well, not really because I have thalassophobia, but
yes, I know GTA 5 had a submarine filthy and free. You use it like once.
I want to use it everywhere.
I wanted to have depth, pun intended.
I liked it. It seems like I listed a lot of pirate games, and it seems like the tone of a lot of them is pretty light. From Yakuza to Sea of Thieves, Monkey Island, Skies of Arcadia, like Wind Waker.
Well, that follows naturally from the pirate theme, because pirates have always been. I mean, I know historically they were horrible. They were pretty horrible people doing horrible things.
They were terrifying.
But there's such a prevalent popular culture image of pirates as just fun-loving adventure havers.
Sure.
That it follows that. Like Pirates is very popular with kids.
Yeah, I mean it's a Disneyland, like an old OG Disneyland ride is Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Like.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that we've romanticized.
It's Jolly Roger, not miserable
kill
Roger.
and rob people.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of nuts.
It is kind of wild. Like, there's not a World War II ride at Disney World. Like,
well, pirates famously stole from other ships, and I think if you've got your own ships in olden times, you're either a government or you're like the East India Company.
It's a very Robin Hood kind of.
Yeah. You've pretty much got to be pretty rich if you've got your own ships and you're in a position to be attacked by pirates.
This distinction between pirates and Robin Hood is that Robin Hood wouldn't massacre the people that he was robbing.
Well, did you know there is no documented evidence to say Blackbeard killed anyone? Blackbeard would usually just, he let fear do all the work. He'd say, give us all your shit and piss off, and they did.
A lot of that was intimidation, right? Reportedly, he would light parts of his beard on fire, and he was only a pirate on the seas for like a really short amount of time.
But he crammed a lot into that.
Mm-hmm. He was a crammer, famous crammer.
Some pirates had like codes of honor. Like some pirates did have codes of honor. Black Bart famously had a code of honor that said his crew weren't allowed to rape anyone.
Good for you, Black Bart.
That's a good rule to have.
Yeah.
I, according to my grandfather, am descended from a pirate.
Go far enough back. Everyone's descended from
a famous. I don't believe him. And he could be talking out of his ass because he probably just wanted to be a pirate.
You know how they say
a famous
everyone
pirate called.
You know how they say everyone alive today can trace their genetics back to Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan. Yeah.
Wait, who was the pirate?
But apparently, Mary Read. She was a pirate that pretended to be a man. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in Black Flag.
Yeah. According to my grandfather, we're descended from the lineage of Mary Read.
Mary Read and Anne Bonny were the two famous female pirate queens from the golden age of piracy.
I like just according to your grandpa, like every day, just like mentions someone else you're related to.
He's like, did you know?
You're related to Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah. In fact, it's very easy to sort of reframe pirates as heroes because, from another perspective, like it was pretty much they were like bastions of liberty. There are many documented stories of pirates raiding slave ships, for example, and then recruiting slaves from the ship who were perfectly happy to join because it meant they didn't have to be slaves anymore.
Yeah.
And also becoming government lackeys in a way, like privateers. A lot of pirates became privateers to like fight against the Spanish and stuff like that.
There was a lot of jumping back and forth between being a privateer and a pirate because obviously after a while the war between England and Spain ended and the privateers didn't want to stop raiding ships, so they just went back to being pirates.
Yeah, it's also like a time period that a lot like kind of the end of the American West, like even in Red Dead, you can set a thing there that marks kind of the end of an era, and so you can tell a story that straddles kind of two different lifestyles. So it can straddle the cowboy lifestyle and then become sort of a more modernized American lifestyle. And the same thing with pirates.
You nailed something on the head there for me, which is like, the romanticizing of pirates has a lot to do with the era it's in, mainly because you can have the immediate satisfaction of having firearms, but also the romanticized era of still using swords and sword fighting and stuff like that. And I think there's something very attractive to, being on the high seas with your, all of your kit and your crew and just like looking for adventure. That's just like, that's so nice.
Singing.
Man, I want to be a pirate. Fuck this.
As you go.
Yeah. It's also, it feels like pirate stuff just, like we mentioned, it filling vessels. Like a Dragon, this isn't the first series that's kind of adopted a pirate thing, and Assassin's Creed certainly wasn't either. Like you have Windbreaker, you have levels in Mario, like the airships in Mario 3 that are pirate themed. You have like half of the Final Fantasy games include a full-on pirate party member or a pirate interlude.
Oh, yes.
So it's also just not a regional thing. Like the Japanese, I think, love pirate stories. Like there's so many RPGs that have included that.
Everyone loves pirate stories. Everyone loves the noble adventuring rogue.
How do you feel about space pirates? Like obviously, space is a thing comparable to the, wide open ocean.
I think it's a harder sell just because the sea pirates have this image of being like out in the open, like wind in their hair, singing your shanties in like, so that you can know the pirate ship's coming because you can hear shanties coming along the breeze. Mm-hmm. Space doesn't have that. Space is just like, oh, there's another tin can. Maybe there's pirates in it.
Yeah, I think of space pirates as being greasy and smelly. But
I think of space pirates. I think of space pirates as more sinister figures for probably just for that reason.
Yeah, but there's been like I guess I don't know. Is like Firefly and Cowboy Bebop, are they pirates?
A little bit. That's like a weird cowboy
sort of
found family
smuggler.
I think of it more as cowboys in space than pirates in space.
Yeah,
it's more sort of
sprinkle of it.
It's more sort of, I guess you'd call it heist crew in space.
Yeah.
Heist crew is its own thing.
You've nailed it. Yeah.
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 That's the difference. There's
like pirate fiction, there's science fiction, and there's heist fiction. And the heist crews are their own dynamic.
Well, it's goal for me. In space, it's a heist crew that are aiming to effectively find prey or like have a specific goal in mind. But for conventional pirates, I think one of the driving forces as well that will immediately come to mind when you think of pirates is treasure and X marks the spot and like hunting for like a fabled thing and trying to look for that rather than just killing and taking from people you see. They're after a thing and like they're trying to find that legendary.
Yeah, pirate fiction tends to have like a built-in MacGuffin like that, right? Like
even
the Yakuza Pirate has like a very early on, the thing you're looking for throughout the game.
I mean, that's a classic real-life treasure situation. Would be a case like a ship that was loaded with gold for some one reason or another would get sunk by pirates, and so there'd just be this fucking treasure trove at the bottom of the ocean for anyone to grab if they've got the resources. If
anyone hasn't seen the show Black Sails, it is one of the best TV shows I think I've ever watched, and it's loosely based off of Treasure Island. Lewis Carroll wrote Treasure Island, right?
No, Robert Louis Stevenson.
Yeah.
wrote
Robert Louis
Treasure
Stevenson,
Island.
sorry, not Lewis Carroll. Well, I get
He
that
also
from anyway.
wrote. He also wrote The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Fact.
Did he?
Fun facts.
I did not know
Yes.
that. So it's an extremely good depiction of naval combat. You'd really like it. Yeah, it goes into a
Yeah.
lot of detail on naval combat and like their entire like strings of episodes that are just based on one battle in the ocean.
Oh hell yeah!
Well, I do like my Hornblower books.
It's incredibly good, and it's got a little bit of like, there's Long John Silver and Dread
That was a
Pirate
real
Roberts
man.
and stuff like
I
that.
thought that was just a fish restaurant.
No, Long John Silver is not a real man. He was a character made up
He
for
was a
Treasure
character
Island.
in Treasure Island.
He's also a fish restaurant, and let me tell you, they got incredible hush
He's a
puppies.
fish restaurant in the TV show. It's weird how they try and get him on
He
the
just
ship.
throws hush puppies. at
brick
his
by
enemies.
brick.
You ever read Treasure Island?
I have not. No.
Because
Not fully, no.
a lot of people seem to remember Long John Silver as being the villain of Treasure Island, but he's actually like a sort of weird, sort of cross it on the boundary between hero and villain figure in that book. Like in the end, he
It's 'cause
sort
he's
of
a
sides
pirate.
with. In the end, he sort of sides with the heroes and like helps get them away from the evil pirates. And then, before he can face any consequence, he just pisses off. He's that sort of lovable, redoubtable rogue figure. And he actually,
And
genuinely has a friendship with the main character, Jim Ladd.
I mean, that's your like your
and the
Jack
best-
Sparrow, your Han
like-
Solo. That's kind
Yeah.
of like a.
Yeah, he saves Jim just because he likes him.
The best depiction of him in any piece of media was Tim Curry in Muppet
Treasure Island.
and
Oh my
Yes.
god!
I will die on this hill.
Speaking of, there's an incredible. I think my first point-and-click adventure game I ever played was a Muppet Treasure Island FMV adventure game based on obviously
Cool.
the Muppet movie. Yeah, it was like point-and-click, just like single screens, like pretty basic, but fucking like Rizzo and Gonzo would pop up as your narrators. That was good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
pirates are great. In
I
conclusion,
love pirates.
what is
Yeah.
what? Okay, so we've gotten a lot of pirate games we like. What is something pirate games haven't explored that we think? We also didn't really talk about like the real like hardcore nerdy strategy 4X genre of pirate games that I don't know if any of us have played, but a lot of top down
Like
kind of pirate
Yeah,
management.
like Sid Meier's Pirates.
Sid Meier's
that sort of
Pirates,
thing.
yeah. Which, yeah. But like, what? Yeah,
I
what
don't
would
know,
you
I
like to
think-
see in a pirate game going forward?
I know. I've got mine. Which is something that's close to me because I have thalassophobia. I don't think enough pirate games delve into horror enough. Like, there's something extremely scary about the open ocean and also pirates. Like, I think they've been romanticized so much that we tend to forget how brutal and terrifying they were. And I think a horror game about
if you were a rich
pirates.
gift cunt with a lot of money, yeah.
No, I reckon if you were probably another
Just in
pirate
their
ship,
way, yeah.
seeing another pirate ship would be fucking terrifying because unless there's some code you've got, which again that's been romanticized to death, the whole pirate code. They're probably
Well,
going to come over and
yeah.
try and kill you.
I mean, if you were
And-
in the golden age of piracy, then they were all like the dudes who hung out in Nassau and they all kind of knew each other. But in other eras, then yeah, you'd probably be less sure of your ground.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot you can do with that. There's a lot more you can do with the ocean and the horrors of the oceans and like your crew slowly getting picked away and it becoming harder to use your ship and navigate and stuff. And
Well, now we're
encountering
up.
different.
Now we're at
horrors.
odds with the whole concept of piracy being inherently fun.
I think
Yeah,
the
but
portrayal
obviously
of
I haven't
piracy
done
has been
this,
inherently
and I'd
fun.
like to
I mean,
see
if you just want to make a horror game at sea, Obra Dinn would like a word. But if you
Yeah,
want specifically pirates and horror, then you're gonna have the whole fun aspect of pirates
Yeah.
getting in the way of stuff.
Obra Dinn has a lot of the pirate iconography, though, even though it wasn't a
Mm.
pirate ship.
No, it's just like old timey sailing. It's not necessarily piratey.
There's Big Kraken.
I mean-
that's piratey. There's mermen.
That's not inherently
crabs.
pirate. That's just like deep sea.
But that's
horror.
like I think that's the flavor of
Jason.
horror that I want to see more. I like something
Okay.
spooky and piratey.
You want to see more Kraken fights.
More Kraken fights. Yeah, I honestly,
No,
I really
other
like the
stuff.
Pirates
I've
of the
seen enough
Caribbean
Krakens.
movies because they got a little bit of spooky in them. I like that they're
I
like
love the
skellies walking
Pirates
on the
of the Caribbean
floor.
movies.
I think those are cool.
It seems weird to say, but even like fighting a Kraken with a ship feels more fun than scary to me.
I don't
Yeah,
know. Kraken
you know,
seems
like,
very
you know what I
scary
mean?
to me.
Because
I've
it's
never seen a Kraken fight.
because
that's
a giant
done-
squid is sort of
yeah.
an inherently silly concept, I suppose.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean,
No, yeah.
like real giant squids wouldn't attack a wooden sailing ship because it wouldn't immediately get a sense that it could eat anything on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think any game's done it. Like, most games when they do them, and I understand why from a game dev perspective, but they just become, like in Sea of Thieves, the squid arms come out of the sea and they are effectively moving targets to shoot with your cannons, and they occasionally slam the boat, and if they do that enough, then you're dead.
I tell you what I want to see from a pirate game. I want to see a pirate game where you have to start from the ground floor. Every pirate game starts with you as the captain. I want to see a pirate game where you are like, you start off as like the cabin boy, and your job is like to sit in the crow's nest and watch out for land, and have you gradually build up experience and acquire additional jobs that
Pirate
have
life
different
sim.
that have different gameplay mechanics attached. Like you get trained on cannon operation, you have to be part of a cannon crew. Then maybe you could become captain of your own cannon crew, like 4 other people you have to manage.
Work your way up the pirate corporate ladder.
Yeah. You could work your way up to like the boatswain or the surgeon, and each one would have like a different set of activities you have to do. And it's like a RPG. Like, what stats are you putting? Are you going to put stats more into carpentry or into food preparation? And that decides where you go on the captain career path until one day, pirating a ship of your very own.
I love that. I want that, where you just level up with the various jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. And that you could be the helmsman and do all the steering.
So that's not the captain. The captain doesn't steer. The captain tells who to steer, the steerman to steer.
Well, I guess it depends on how big a crew we're talking about. Like if you got a smaller crew, there'll be a lot of crossover with the jobs. Like the surgeon and the carpenter would often use the same tools for reasons that are probably best not thought about.
I do. I like that. I like that quite a bit. I also like starting off with a small crew and slowly getting a big crew. Like, I like that in Yakuza Pirates, you start off and there's like 4 of you, like a kid, you, 2 adults, and a tiger. And then by 10 hours into the game, you got like 100 people on there. If you pre-ordered the game, you got Ichiban on there and Kiryu.
Yeah, and each individual crew member like recruited individually. And then you can look back and see how far you've come.
Yeah, they have the different strengths and weaknesses. Like, some are better at healing, so if you want your heals to work out well. Some are better at cannon fighting, so you want them there. Pirate games, pretty good. That's my conclusion.
All right. Oh, that sounds like a cue to go to Super Chats to me.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone who's already written in. There's so many great ones I saw come in. I'm very excited to read them.
Dr. Theo, member for 13 months in tip jar, and then gives $5 and says, I'm surprised there aren't really any pirate horror. Ooh, timely. Stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean has elements of horror, but I've never seen one that's the focus. Well, as I say, it's always going to be sort of fun horror, fun in the sort of Gremlin sort of area, because pirates are fun.
Yeah, or something like the ship ran aground somewhere it shouldn't. That's like The Terror. The book / TV miniseries, The Terror, is a little bit about that. Yeah, there won't be just much singing of sea shanties while you're sort of getting yourself out of that. No, not at all. I would like the idea of like a straight up survival horror pirate game, though. I think that'd be cool. Fox D gives $10. It says, swamped at work. Here's a tenner for the cause. Working in the fishing industry, I'm glad pirates are no longer a thing. That'd make liability insurance a lot harder to secure. Yeah, modern day pirates aren't fun. No, like Captain Phillips, like impoverished Somalian people with AK-47s. Yeah, no, that's not fun at all. Who else? I guess was like Voss kind of a pirate in Voss Montenegro. I think he was more of a drug lord, wasn't he? I think so. Yeah, I guess just a Caribbean. Yeah. Lance. Oh, look at that
camera doesn't know who to focus on.
Toffee's just sleeping off camera.
Hell yeah.
I ain't inclined to disturb him. Lance Verity gives 30 Zars and says, "What will drop Marty into the pommy zone tonight?" Ooh, what's a only British pirate thing? Do you remember Captain Butler, Jay?
What is the Pommy Zone?
Butler.
Captain Butler was a short-lived, very bad pirate-themed sitcom starring Craig Charles.
No, I don't remember Pilot Butler. I don't think I ever watched that. How short-lived was it? Like a series?
Oh, it was like one season. Nobody liked it.
Yeah, no, I didn't touch that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like just a pirate stuff. You go to like most of our port towns, there's loads of pirate bullshit. There's a pirate festival that happens every year in England that I've been to once.
I remember there was an animated version of Treasure Island at one point where all the characters were dogs and like the Dawn French voiced the main character.
Oh my god, what?
Do you remember that? Just when I was a kid? Okay. Well,
I
never
love
mind
French,
then.
but no.
Never mind then. Alex Armstrong gives $2 and says, "I recall you liking Capcom's Zack and Wiki, Yahtzee." Oh yeah, I remember that. That was on the Wii. That was like one of the very earliest games I reviewed. Came in like 2008.
Zack and Wiki. I fucking love Zack and Wiki. Why aren't we bringing this game back, Capcom? What are you doing? Stop making Monster Hunter and start making Zack and Wikis.
No, keep making Monster Hunter.
Okay, keep making Monster Hunter, but also make Zack and Wikis.
Yeah, do both.
Sort of a shitty adventure game, wasn't it?
What Zack and
Wasn't
Wiki?
that interesting from a gameplay perspective?
Oh, I thought it was great. I thought it had some neat little puzzles.
Okay.
And a little waggle. Everyone loved waggling back in the day. Oh my god, 2007, 2008. Holy shit, were we waggling?
Hey, you waggle on a pirate ship, you'll probably fall over. Good, you haven't got your sea legs. Fungus Finder gives $2 and says, "Yar har fiddle-dee-tee, you are a pirate."
I didn't rhyme.
You are a pirate.
Is that a reference
Lazy
to something? I don't know. Okay.
Lazy Town reference.
Lazy Town?
Mr. Oh,
Yeah,
surely you know what Lazy Town is. That was an American thing.
Is it
You know,
like a
it
real
was
town
the-
full of lazy people?
It was the
Lazy
thing with
Town
that,
is, yeah.
that dude who played both the hero and the villain. He played like Robbie
No,
Rotten.
they're two separate people.
Okay.
This is a deeply terrible explanation of what this thing is. Like, is it a movie?
Lazy
a
Town
TV
is
show?
a children's show.
Oh.
Lazy Town is a children's show where it's inhabited by puppets, and everyone is kind of lazy, and they have a main character. I think he's called like Spartacus or some shit.
He's called Sporticus because he wants everyone to do
Sporticus.
sports.
I am Sporticus, and he's incredibly fit and does stuff, and he like encourages all the puppets and children to exercise. But there was also another character who was like a villain who lived in the sewers, and he was the guy who sang that pirate song.
And he wanted everyone to eat chips.
Yeah,
basically.
I side with him.
I watched a great video about, apparently there was a Warren Buffett animated series like 10 or 12 years ago on Amazon, and it's deeply terrible. And there's a whole essay tearing down why it's like legitimately one of the worst made things ever, with like a terrible message for children.
Oh my god.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, moving on. Mr. Venom 1998 gives $2 and says, "Finally, the stream topic I've been waiting for."
Yarr.
Yes, next week it's ninjas. The week after that is cowboys, and after that, what comes after that? Vikings,
Samurai,
Vikings, samurai.
Yeah.
Oh, ninjas and samurai. I guess they're like adjacent.
They sort of go together. Samurai aren't fun. Ninjas are fun. Samurai are all, Bushido, Code of Honor shit.
Yeah,
ninjas now, that's where the fun is.
Shit.
Ninjas were fun.
Yeah, but samurais are fun to play as.
Well, if you like.
I guess we'll find out in Assassin's Creed Shadows.
The thing about samurais is that you were only a proper samurai if you were working for a local lord. That's not fun. That's just being somebody's monkey.
Oh, otherwise you're just like.
But what if you worked up to being lord, like in Shogun?
That's why masterless samurais were considered like low class.
Ronin, right? That's what they were called.
Yeah, Ronin, shameful, dishonorable types.
I don't think they rolled their tongue.
Same is true of knights, and there's an interesting bit of what's the word? Like parallel etymology, in that the word samurai and the word knight both derive from a word that originally meant servant.
Oh, interesting.
Because of course knights and samurais were both considered to be warriors in service of a lord.
Yeah, servant of the realm.
Fun facts.
Yeah. Fun fact, I think knight originally meant stable boy.
Learn a lot right now.
The Man in Black gives $5. Says, "Oh boy, time for my favorite British culture podcast." Yes, we're going to talk about Absolutely Fabulous now.
You can't. You already did it once.
yeah,
You
dude.
can't dip. You can't double dip.
Sorry.
had
Did you
to-
know
You
Jennifer
wanna watch-
Saunders?
Oh,
Did you know Jennifer Saunders' character in Absolutely Fabulous was named Eddie Monsoon because that was the nickname of her husband, Adrian Edmondson?
I thought you
I'm
were saying
still
Eddie
blown away
Munster.
by the fact that are they still married?
I think so. Last I heard.
That's so cool.
Why are we here again? How are we here again?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're still
Uh,
married.
Oh, nice. Is Lenny Henry still married to Dawn French?
No, they broke up ages ago.
Oh, that's a shame.
Kind of messily, which is a shame because they're both living legends.
I
Dude,
wanna-
Vicar Dibley's. I like Vicar Dibley.
I won a pub trivia contest once from happening to know that Lenny Henry was married to Dawn French.
And you won because of it.
Well,
That's the
we
deciding
won.
question.
We won the quiz. That was one of the questions.
Boom. That was the decider.
I'm gonna start drinking before the show.
Darwin's
plan.
Dummy gives $2 and says, "Pirate games let you be the bad guy, same as GTA." Yeah, but the thing about games that let you play the bad guy is if they're very like overt with it, like let's say Overlord or Evil Genius, then it's not as fun because you're still like going along with the game's expectations.
But also, most pirate
When it comes
games, you can't do the bad stuff, right? Like in Assassin's Creed, if you kill innocents, you desync. You only fight
Yeah.
assholes in Yakuza.
Yeah, when we say bad guy, you're playing as like a plays by their own rules lovable rogue, which isn't quite the same thing.
Yeah, you're never playing like a capital B bad pirate,
No.
which is probably
You're
It's
not
having
playing.
the
you
choice,
never-
I think, is the peak. Sea of Thieves does that.
Yeah. You're not playing an unsympathetic character. Matt D gives $5 and says, "Pirate games are great because we get to pretend we're a united faction that happens to have the means to take down all these corporations." Ha ha. Well, don't look up what happened to all the pirates from the golden age of piracy. That'll depress you, mate.
that is a nice part of the theme, though, of feeling like the little guys can all band together and take
Yeah.
down the monolithic figurehead.
Well, yes, as is so often the case, how these like revolutionary movements start, and then they all fall apart because no one really, they either just get exploited by the rich cunts, or they never really had a plan beyond destabilizing the rich cunts.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
The book The Hair That Uncle Hyped gives €5 and says, "Valve released TF2's developer kit to the public and thus came full circle from fan mod made to full game and now full game to fan mod." Yeah, I heard they did that.
So what does that mean?
Well done, Steve.
Well, they've released the source code for TF2, so now anyone can create a mod for it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm
them
sure
long
we'll be
enough.
seeing. I mean, it's because they released the source code for Doom that there's so many ridiculous Doom mods these days.
Yeah.
Like people have modded Doom 1 into like fucking everything.
Yeah.
Complete
Pregnancy
other
tests.
games, right?
Yeah. And pregnancy tests. 4NM Urban M gives 25 PLNs and says, "Sid Meier's Pirates 2004 was a game that let you do epic sea battles, epic swashbuckling, tedious treasure hunting, and dance. Loved that game."
Yeah, that was
Yeah, there was a whole,
remake of the original one that was like the early 90s, right? Or late 80s.
Yeah, and there was this whole like mini game where you were like courting the daughters of local governors and shit, and where you had to do dancing at the ball.
Where's that dancing?
Alex Armstrong. Well, you know, things get very boring on ships at sea. That's why they sung sea shanties a lot. They'd also make a lot of time for like making music. They'd have dance contests.
Do you think if they had like what if they had pods? Would they just be like piping like Joe Rogan out the speakers?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Listen to
I mean,
some
I've read a
Mark-
few-
Well, no, guys, they'd be listening to Windbreaker. What are you on about?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I read a few like Hornblower books. They get so bored, they put on like productions of Hamlet just to pass the time.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the thing that most games for piracy cut out is that there's a lot of nothing.
There's an
And
awful, yes, it's
waiting.
an awful lot of empty horizon and just passing the time as you go,
And dysentery.
and that as well. Alex Armstrong gives $2 and says, "Another failed open world game with pirates, Atlas." Well, it must have failed because I don't know what the fuck you're on about, Alex Armstrong.
I had to go look it up.
Is that an MMO?
What is that?
It was a
I saw the
2018
Steam page
game
and
that
saw-
is still in early access.
Oh dear.
It came out in 2018.
It's been
I don't
like
thi-
8 years.
I think you guys.
Yeah,
I think you're
never-
done. You can just say you're done.
Never a good sign.
No.
Yeah. Just... Peter Parker SL gives $10. Says, I'm looking forward to the next Baldur's Gate 3 update to drop so I can play the new Swashbuckler subclass, among other subclasses. What non-pirate or ocean-related game could do with a pirate update?
Ooh.
GTA.
I feel like a GTA pirate thing could work.
I was thinking Far Cry. Like Far Cry at sea with pirates.
Far Cry at sea.
I could dig that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, most of them are on tropical islands already.
Yeah. I'd like a straight, like, a lot of Final Fantasy games touch on pirate stuff, like Balthier and Final Fantasy 12 and airships and all that shit. But I'd like a Final Fantasy game that is like full
Sky
on.
Pirates, man.
That's
More
Skies
Sky
Arcadia
Pirates.
is so good. Skies Arcadia is so fucking good.
What about a Pirate Souls like by From Software?
Oh, that could be cool.
Sailing to different levels. Getting invaded by ships.
Just your kit being like a cutlass and some pistols.
Cutlass, a ranged weapon. Hey, that's Bloodborne.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
parry with the
You get a
or
grappling
the-
hook in Yakuza Pirates, so I'm sure you can have a
There you go.
yeah.
I think there's legs there. Bookworm
sold.
776, member for 1 month in ad-free podcast, says, shout out to Pillars of Eternity Deadfire, a great pirate CRPG with a great story and plenty of sea shanties adapted for lore. Yeah, I've been playing Avowed, which I have learned in retrospect is set in the Pillars of Eternity universe. I never really play isometric RPGs. They just don't gel with me for some reason.
A lot of clicking.
It's all the clicking. I hate that clicking.
We're anti-clicking here.
The reading for me. Can't read.
You love the click though.
Right.
Oh man, I play MOBAs and MMOs. I love a click. I love a good click, me.
What about a pirate fighting game? Fighting games have pirate characters like Cervantes in Soul Calibur 2.
Oh, yeah.
But like a
You know,
straight up pirate fighting game.
You know, the first thing that leapt to mind was that Deadliest Warrior put out a fighting game that was like an Xbox 360 live arcade game. And so so the characters were ninja, knight,
Yeah.
samurai, and pirate.
Yeah.
But they were shooting for realism as well. So if you could just like pull your gun and shoot, and the other guy just drops dead instantly. It was kind of dumb.
I like that.
But,
That's so
yeah.
good. I don't know. I think there's not a lot you can. There's a lot of like thematics you can do with pirates, but maybe not so much mechanically to have an entire suite of characters.
Well, I guess you
entirely
could, if like Arc
pirates.
System Works, the Guilty Gear folks would make like a One Piece game or something. There's probably enough
Guilty-
weirdo One Piece characters that could work in that.
Guilty Gear's got pirates, isn't it? It's got the whole that character who's like a orange girl who's a pirate.
Someone's got an anchor. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Squirtle Squad 420, member for 7 months in ad-free podcast, says the best part is rhyming insult sword fights. Every enemy I've met, I've annihilated, which is a reference to the Monkey Island series, which we didn't really talk about.
No,
but that's really just pirate. It's really just uses the pirate theme.
Yeah, that is very much
very-
like LucasArts and Tim Schafer being
Yeah.
able to put their 90s charm into, the same way
Yes.
that Full Throttle was that, but with bikers, and Grim Fandango was them, and the Day of the Dead.
Yeah. Although insult sword fighting is pretty genius as a gameplay mechanic, I've always thought.
This is very interesting for my friend who was playing with me in the Sea of Thieves DLC, where they have insult sword fighting in the Sea of Thieves DLC, and them not having played Monkey Island, and to get to that and be like, what the fuck is
What
happening?
is this?
Just didn't have a fucking clue. Hey, I'm a mine of trivia today. You know who was credited with writing the insults for the sword fighting in Monkey Island 1?
David Bowie.
Orson Scott Card,
Oh no.
who
I
wrote
didn't know
Ender's Game.
Yeah. He was also not a great dude.
No, not a great dude. But
Come on.
I don't know, but for some reason they just subcontracted writing all the sword fighting insults to Orson Scott Card of all people.
Weird.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
I don't
We
know.
need to get Tim. We need to get Tim back on the podcast to talk to him about that.
Ask him.
Darwin says, was that before he wasn't great? He probably wasn't great then, but I don't think he was known as being not great then. So I think it was...
No. It was post Shadow Complex that he was outed as not great.
Shadow Complex was pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of like Shadow Complex.
Yeah, same.
Sovereign gives €5 and says, hey, does anyone remember the Risen games? Surprised we never got more purely pirate-themed RPGs. Seems like an ideal setting for it. Well, I did review Risen 2, and if memory serves, they just weren't very good.
I don't even know what this is. I thought he
I've heard of it. I've never played them.
I thought it was a typo of Riven, the mist
No,
game.
they were just big old open-world RPGs
Oh,
where you're a
Piranha
pirate.
Bytes. I never play. I know Piranha Bytes. Those are the guys who did Gothic, Risen, LX.
Yeah.
I think most of their games
Yeah.
are kind of like janky, but the folks who love them love them.
Yeah, those guys, I would describe them as punching above their weight.
Yeah.
Best kind of jank.
Look who it is. It's Tsunami Dusha. And guess what he's got to contribute? $20 and fuck all else.
Oh my god. The douche is loose.
As is his want.
Thanks, Tsunami Dusha. The Brain Sturgeon gives €6 and says, oh, I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Yahtzee, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay and it's time for us to leave her. Well, I wish I knew the melody for that particular shanty.
I thought that was a Beatles song.
That was the melody. That was perfect.
I thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
Hawker Bridging gives $1.99 and says, I did land pirates in D&D. They were hydrophobes. What, they all had
land
rabies?
pirates.
What?
Well,
What's what's a hydrophobe?
Can't imagine.
You're afraid of water?
That makes...
well, hydrophobia
Hydrophobe is-
is literally hatred of water, but hydrophobia is also a faintly archaic word for rabies. Because if you've got rabies, you find it almost impossible to swallow.
So you're repulsed by water. You
can't- you can't
one of the
drink-
symptoms. Yeah.
It's just that you can't drink water. That's why they called it hydrophobia.
This has been a pretty good stream in
Well,
terms of learning a bunch of little fun facts.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how often I've been able to pull out my many random,
I'm not gonna remember any of
useless
them,
bits
but
of
I
trivia
like them
happen
all
to
in
know.
the moment.
Well, it goes further as well. The hydrophobia is it's not just that they couldn't drink; it's that they would recoil from it. Like their body would
Well, it's
remove
probably-
themselves from it.
Yeah, because they were going mad.
Oh yeah. If you get rabies symptoms, you're fucking dead. Like,
Yep.
there's only ever been one recorded case ever in history where they've cured rabies once they've got symptoms.
Cujo, the dog?
Yeah.
It's yes, it's a fucking extremely deadly.
I didn't realize. I
And
thought
they had
rabies was kind of like a goofy thing.
No. If you get
It's
bitten,
really bad.
Your only hope is if you can get to a hospital quick enough, because
I have to go back and
the only
apologize to
time-
some people because I've been using rabies as a punchline for a while.
well, happily,
It's real
it's
bad.
pretty uncommon to get rabies these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. Well, in England, it's completely eradicated. Hence why Ludo could come here.
Yeah.
England.
That was Van
England.
Morrison. I'm not even sure if they're English.
Yeah. Japio gives $20 and says, thanks, Marty, for including skies. It captures sense of discovery perfectly. The adventure vibes are impeccable. Charming crew to recruit and dopamine of discovery. Vise and gang, like you, want to keep going and find more.
It is my absolute pleasure. Skies of Arcadia is it's actually not my next, but the following episode of the archive is going to be on that. That was a Sega developed JRPG that came out for the Dreamcast in the year and a half that the Dreamcast was alive, and then they released a fancy version on the GameCube, and then has not been seen since. Although there's always been scuttlebutt of a remaster, and it is great. It is an excellent JRPG with all of those pirate trappings and charm. I love it quite a bit.
I need to play that.
It's air
That sounds
pirates.
great.
Well,
really good.
how very nice.
10 wells out of 10. Think about it.
Lord Robertus III, member for 3 months in tip jar, and then gives €2 to say, I want a bronchiatric flare-up ad now, Jamate.
That's a reference to my Design Delve, which came out today. Go watch that, everyone. Where my ad transition was transitioning to a completely wrong ad, and then
okay.
transitioning to the proper one. So
Whoops.
that was, yeah.
Part of it was because we didn't know if we had a real ad during it.
It's like I'll transition to the wrong ad, and then if it then again transitions to the wrong ad again, it's double funny.
Watch that. It's all about a deep dive into From Software's fascination with swamps. Best swamps, worst swamps, all swamps bad. Oops, all swamps.
Oops, all swamps.
Paul Cabridging gives $1.99 and says, "Who are your favourite pirates, real or fictional?" Fictional, Captain Nemo. Real, Stede Bonnet.
Captain Nemo is really good. Who's Steve Bonnet?
Well, Stede Bonnet.
Who's that?
And if you're interested, Internet Historian did a whole 2-hour video dramatising his life. But he was basically a dude who was born into wealth, but just decided he didn't really know how to do anything, and his life was falling apart, so he just went and became a pirate and had absolutely no fucking clue what he was doing.
Sick. My favorite fictional will be Davy Jones. My favorite real life will be Mary Read, because apparently she's my fucking nan.
Grandma Read.
Yeah.
I like
Stede Bonnet's in Black Flag as well. He's that fat dude played by Stephen Merchant.
Are they in Black Sails? What are they called? Stephen Bonnet?
If you remember Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
I don't.
He's like the first guy you meet on the island where you get wrecked. You meet Stede Bonnet and he gives you a ride to the nearest actual populated island.
It was so long ago. I like the Dread Pirate Roberts, even though he's not really a pirate, but from Princess Bride.
Yes.
Yeah. I watched that with Jess for the first time last week.
Pretty good.
And nearly every scene that came up, she was like, "Wait, that's where this is from?"
Oh yeah, you're like oh yeah, they take a lot of
knew the reference.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
She correctly said that the sword fight between Inigo Montoya and Dread Pirate Roberts on top of the cliff was the best part of the movie, and I was like, hands down.
It's really good.
It's that or the Battle of Wits with Wallace Shawn for me.
Oh, that is also very good.
Yes.
Good movie.
Bookworm776 gives $2 and says, "My favourite pirate lord is Grinderbin."
Ah!
Yes, although he still refuses to admit that he is one. Referencing Adventurers Naiad, the second episode of Season 4 will be up this weekend, incidentally. Mm-hmm. Look forward to that.
I'm doing the sound design for it right after this.
Oh, shit. Hurry up with that. We need to get that out there.
I got to see...
this is real early considered what we used to do at the Escapists.
Omar showed me the animatronic. I think he sent it to the channel for the production team for that. But the little animatronic he's made for a character later on in the season, and it is some real sicko mode shit going on there.
Oh yeah.
Very excited about
weird.
Alex Armstrong gives $5 and says, "In response to last week, you guys disagreeing on a ranking list, here's mine. Common, valuable, rare, unique, one of a kind, and custom for modded stuff."
Oh,
but where's legendary, Alex Armstrong?
Yeah, where's legendary?
One of a kind, I guess, is legendary.
What about cursed?
I just did. Well, I was just playing Avowed, as I said, and their tier list goes common, exceptional, superb, and legendary. And you didn't have any of those, Alex Armstrong.
That's nice and simple. You know what I like about Avowed? I like using a spell book and a wand.
Yeah,
I think that feels really good, just because it doesn't really feel like a whole lot of other games.
I just like partially classed as a magic user, so I wouldn't have to be holding a spell book and could just twat dudes with sword and shield and then roast their balls off.
Oh, I need to figure out how to not have a spell book, because I'm holding a book like a goddamn nerd in that game.
Wait, did you think you had to have the book to cast spells?
I don't know. I mean, I'm about 90 minutes into the game, and at this point, I feel like I've needed the book.
Well, if you put points into the mage skill tier list, having the book enhances the spell, but you don't need a book.
There you go. Fun fact. Learning.
Cool. Where are we? Peter Parker SL gives $5 and says, "Currently binging Black Sails on Netflix, Jamate. Halfway through season 2 and loving it so far."
It's really fucking good. It's really good. I had a friend who's obsessed with pirates, and he was like, "Hey, you should watch Black Sails." And I was like, "Isn't it that pirate show?" Yeah, whatever. Because I thought he's just trying to pawn off pirate stuff. It's actually great.
I assume I would like it. I mean, Jay, you were there. You remember how giddy I got when the prospect of going on that museum ship in
We
in
went on
Baltimore.
multiple ships and we were nerding out. It was great.
But all I knew was that we would go on like a 19th century museum ship, and that was the only one I wanted.
That was the best one by far.
Yeah, I wanted to see the officers' quarters. I wanted to see the bilge.
I always want to see the bilge.
Really cool.
Anytime I go into like a new like a store or a restaurant, I demand to see the bilge.
Show me the bilge.
Speaking of pirate TV shows, 2 other recommendations. Our Flag Means Death, which is the sort of comedic one that was on HBO.
That's the one that's about Blackbeard, isn't it?
Yes, and that was produced by Taika Waititi. And then animated series,
show, right?
Yeah. It has like a little bit of drama, but it's mostly the goofs.
I think Stede Bonnet's in that as well. I mean, any story about Blackbeard is going to have Stede Bonnet in it as well because they were chums. Well, I say that they worked together.
They were work colleagues.
Yeah. Well, basically, Blackbeard took over Stede Bonnet's ship under the guise of like showing him the ropes.
Stede Bonnet is apparently the main character of Our Flag Means Death. I didn't know that.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't know he's based on for real man. And then 90s cartoon Pirates of Blackwater. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, I remember that.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I remember that.
They might have had a Super Nintendo game as well, I think.
You know, I remember that very clearly for one specific reason. I don't remember anything about the characters of the show, but there was like an opening title sequence where like the narrator explains the premise.
Yeah.
And he says, at his side are an unlikely but loyal crew of misfits. And as a kid, I thought they were saying biscuits.
An unlikely crew of biscuits.
Biscuits, yeah.
When are they going to crumble? Don't go in the water, you'll get soggy.
That's dumb. Good stuff.
Funny the weird random details that are the only things we remember about certain things.
Yeah. Brains are weird.
Alex Armstrong gives $5. There's any chance you can come up with a shorthand term for the very rare case of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Maybe subtitled sequel or continuance? Referencing the fact that they stuck a 2 on the end instead of coming up with a different subtitle word.
Especially when the colon is after come.
I don't know. I'd just say being bloody stupid is what I would call it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's maybe they just did market testing and realized, like, keeping the same title and adding a 2 helps.
Kingdom Come would have been a perfectly fine title for the first game.
Yeah.
Agreed. The sequel should have been called Kingdom Come something else, like Kingdom Come
Kingdom Came
Nightfucker or something.
Yes, exactly. That's where all the confusion arose. They gave it a subtitle before it was a sequel.
What about Queendom Come?
Names not fits. Member for 7 months and tip jar. Thank you very much. And then Sovereign gives €5 and says, "Does Sunless Sea count as a pirate game? If so, that would be a good example of pirates crossed with Lovecraftian horror." I don't know if just sailing a ship around immediately makes you a pirate game. I wouldn't have called like colonization a pirate game or sailing era.
Like Dredge isn't a pirate game. Dredge is not a pirate game.
That's just being on a boat.
But is Wind Waker? Your boat's very small.
No,
but I feel like there's a lot of pirate trappings. You're looking.
There
for
are
treasure.
pirates. There are pirates in Wind Waker, but you yourself are not a pirate.
But you can get a little cannon on your ship. You dredge the water to try to find treasures.
But you're still not a pirate. You're the hero of winds, is what you are.
That's true. Zelda's a pirate in that game, though.
Yeah, and then they turned her into a princess, and I fucking hated that they did that.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, this character is not interesting anymore. Well done.
Congrats, Nintendo. Lazy Miyamoto.
And now she gets to like spend the whole game in a cupboard, being a princess, while you do all the work, and basically remove all her agency as a character. Peter Parker SL gives $5 and says, "What if FromSoft made a pirate game? Only living ship among a sea of the dead and various grotesque sea monsters you have to fight." I feel like you'd have to get off the ship every now and again.
Because there's been some pirate like Dark Souls 2 had an area where you go into like a cave and there's a spooky pirate ship you need to go into. And
No Man's Wharf.
Yeah, No Man's Wharf.
No Man's Wharf, yeah.
No Man's Wharf was the area where you fight zombie pirates.
And I think
the final boss is on a ship.
Okay. And then one of the Neo games has some pirates. I just remember Nick playing it and me watching him as he streamed it, and it had some pirate shit in it. But I don't think anyone's ever gone full pirate. It'd be interesting though.
No, the main character was a sailor of Neo, if memory serves.
That's right.
Yeah, he was one of the first Englishmen to.
He was
go
based.
to
Yeah, he was based
Japan.
on William Adams, famously one of the first foreigners to be accepted by the Edo period Japanese.
The guy from
society.
Shogun?
Yes.
He was
Yeah,
an advisor
that's
to
Yeah.
he was an advisor to Tokugawa Ieyasu, if memory serves. But in Neo, he's Irish, which I think is like a marketability thing. Like they did this with the Saboteur as well. They took an actual historical figure, William Grover Williams in the case of the Saboteur, who was English, but they recast him as an Irishman because Americans like Irish people more than they like English people.
Gives them some spice. It gives a little spice. I'd play a pirate FromSoft game. I've always been on team. Hey, their next thing should just be Berserk. But a pirate,
Yeah,
I'm down.
One Piece instead.
What have you played as an Irish?
Irish.
I'm out.
An Irish pirate. John Brooks gives £10 and says, just have to say the theme for Black Sails is a banger. Loved its blending of part Treasure Island prequel and part History of the Golden Age.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
the excessive
Nice.
use of the hurdy-gurdy in that tune, written by Bear McCready, I believe.
Oh,
Who's
I
a
like that.
prolific.
Now that is
Prolific
the name.
artist.
That is the name of someone who should be a pirate.
Bear McCready.
They'd say,
He looks like
"Oh,
a pirate as well.
It's the dread pirate Bear McCready. He's come to.
He's so talented. He's one of my heroes.
plunder
I'd love
the-
to meet him one day.
He's gonna plunder the Spanish Main.
Bear McCready also sounds like he'd be like a prospector, like an old timey prospector
Yeah.
who went west to try to strike it rich.
He did
I'm only-
he did the
I'm only-
soundtrack for the show the Rings of Power.
Oh, that's right.
I'm only just realizing we should have done this whole podcast in pirate voices. Missed
Yes, we
opportunity
should
there,
have.
perhaps. The trouble is, my pirate voice very easily crosses over into my West Country accent.
That's because they're kind of one and the same.
But they're going to the same thing. Because the Bristol accent is the pirate accent is the Bristol accent, which is very close to the Somerset accent.
In Somerset, it's really weird when you
Yeah,
go to
Somerset.
Bristol.
Yeah.
You go Bristol and you're like, you go up to the cashier at the shop and it's just a teenager. They're just chilling, just this young girl, and you handle your stuff, and then she's like, all right. It's like, fucking, where's that accent come from? Like, you don't expect it to come out of these people. You always assume that kind of accent, that piratey accent, comes out of like an elderly
Yeah.
man, like a pirate.
Yeah.
When it comes out
Or
of like a teenage girl, it's like,
Or a farmer with big grey sideburns
yeah, oh, perfect.
and a very red face.
So normally I'd be upset that this is our third interlude of the episode, but this one had funny voices, so I actually didn't mind this one.
Okay.
All right,
Right, moving
we'll
on.
remember that for future.
I
Alex
like the
R.
voices, so I thought that was pretty good.
Alex Armstrong gives $2 and says, "Are Windbreaker and Return of Obra Dinn pirate-like?" No, they're not. We've been over that. They're just games on ships.
They have mild pirate flavoring, but I would not say either one is
All
a
right.
pirate game.
All right, if we were like a censorship
adjacent.
bureau, we would classify it as mild pirate themes.
Yes.
Wizard of the Void gives 1723 and says, if you like books, can't recommend The Invisible Hook. Starts with the mutiny on the Fancy, launching the golden age of piracy. Wait, you can recommend or you can't recommend? Because it says, because it said can't recommend.
I
but
feel
I'm
like they probably
thinking it
meant
might
they
have been a
can't
typo.
recommend enough. Like I can't recommend
Maybe.
enough this book.
Although they forgot to put the inverted comma in the can't, so I'm assuming maybe it might have been a typo.
Maybe it was a Kant
Yeah.
book by Kant. Kant. Think about it, philosopher.
Damn.
Yeah. Yes, I've always been a fan of Kant philosophy.
Oh, you can't say that. The way you say it makes it sound like the C word.
What? What are you talking about? I'm just expressing my appreciation for Immanuel Kant.
This sounds like something Bart Simpson would call into the bar and Mo would ask for, and then he'd get laughed
He's
at.
saying it correct. He's saying it correctly, as a fellow Brit.
Yes, there you go. Dr. Theo gives $5. There's a party of a Victorian gentleman thief, an Old West gunslinger, a former samurai, and an elderly French pirate is technically historically plausible. Well, yeah. Yeah, those all could have existed at the same time.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good RPG party right there.
Yeah. Yeah. No astronauts, though.
No.
Although you could probably have a party that consists of an astronaut and of someone who was executed by guillotine.
It'd be like a very
as-
old someone who's executed, and a very young pirate.
The last person to be executed by guillotine in France was executed in the 70s.
What?
True story.
France, you're wilding out.
Also, that'd be a weird party to have, yachts, because they'd be fucking dead.
Okay, the last person who performed an execution by guillotine and an astronaut.
It could be a dead man's party. Not like, I don't know why I'm shocked, but that's not like the U.S. ways of corporal punishment or any like fucking electric chair and lethal injection. Like,
No, those are awful.
Those aren't good.
I mean, yeah, I don't think there's any form of execution that's going to be fully humane, because the person being executed is never going to want to be executed.
I think the best thing we have is the movie Midsommar, when people got too old, they just stepped off a cliff and then fell and smashed on the rocks below. So
you think it wouldn't be hard to just, put some kind of explosive charge at the base of someone's skull that just obliterates their entire head in an instant so they don't feel a thing?
There's a lot of cleanup. That's what the government don't want.
Oh,
they don't want to pay a janitor.
There's always going to be cleanup, even if it's just, removing.
Yeah, but there's a difference between dragging a corpse out and then peeling brain matter off a wall.
Look, people like in the gas chamber frequently vomited in fear. Someone had to clean that up.
Yeah, but I don't think cleanup was their priority. I think in lethal injection. This is a fucking weird conversation.
Look, are you telling me you're not going to clean the entire room you executed someone, whatever happens? I mean, you're going to want to do a pretty thorough cleaning to get any stench.
I'd put down a tarp.
But
I'd put down a tarp, okay?
You assume like hotel rooms are super cleaned every time, and sometimes I'll go into a hotel room, I'll be like, I don't feel like you fully cleaned this. I see what's going on here.
You know what I've recently discovered? The superiority of Brillo pads when it comes to cleaning kitchenware.
Like those are the scaly, like the rough pads?
I was making caramel sauce to make my signature caramel slices over the weekend.
Hell yeah.
And stupidly, I got one of my kids to stir it while it was cooking while I took care of something else. So obviously, we got a little bit of burnt caramel on the bottom of the pan. And that's a nightmare to shift. But then I got out a Brillo pad, and it made such short work.
Can we talk? What's going on with these iconic caramel slices? What are these?
Well, it's sometimes also known as millionaire's shortbread.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yes.
Oh, that's decadent. That's decadent.
I make a shortbread base, and I make a caramel to go on top, and then I put chocolate on top of that. Actually, pretty easy to make. All you need for the shortbread is like butter, flour, and sugar. And then all you need for the caramel, you just get a tin of condensed milk, put some butter, sugar, and maybe some golden syrup in a pan. Heat it up, keep stirring, get your meat thermometer out, take it off the heat when it gets exactly 225 degrees. You don't want to fuck about. Sugar's weird.
Sugar is weird.
Then pour it on top of your biscuit base, and then just add chocolate to the top. Just melt down some chocolate chips with a bit of butter or coconut oil. Easy peasy.
I love it.
Can I have that on a t-shirt? You don't want to fuck about. Sugar's weird.
Yeah, take that out of context.
I
invite you to take that out of context because it's an important life lesson. When you're cooking,
it is.
Don't fuck about. Sugar's weird.
Straight facts. I've never heard something more true.
Starlord98 gives $4.99 and says, never felt more like a pirate than playing early Sea of Thieves. Playing shanties and enjoying the beautiful graphics made the journey the best part.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
their water shader is still the best I've ever
really
seen.
Good looking.
I know. It's crazy good.
So good.
John Brooks, member for 15 months in the Green Gang, says, I remember the Pirates sitcom, thought I dreamt it, referring to Captain Butler, which I was referencing earlier.
Captain.
Apparently nobody but me remembers it.
Nope.
The only really noteworthy thing is that Craig Charles was in it, who of course played Lister in Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Getting dangerously close to a
entire episode 1 is on YouTube.
Getting dangerously close to for a fourth trip.
I'm sure everyone's disowned it by now. Anyway, John Brooks, member 50. I didn't know one. Max KO gives $5 and says, a pirate horror that leans into the Lovecraft mythos with how scary the deep sea is, that the possibility of your crew going mad would be interesting.
Yeah, like a thing scenario on a pirate ship could be cool. Like you don't know who to trust.
Which one of your crewmates?
That could be cool.
Alex Armstrong gives $2 and says, pirate themed Dark Souls or Souls-like, good idea. You're not even the first fucking super chat to bring that up, Alex Armstrong.
You know what, Alex? But I appreciate it as someone who forgets things very often, and we do think it's a good idea. Miyazaki, if you're listening, please.
Yeah.
Names Not Fits gives 200 Swedish krona. Says, currently rewatching Adventures Night because it's really freaking good. Just watched Jamate bury a feeble old man alive. But to stick to the pirate theme, are we going to meet Domino Fantastic and his hot sister in season 4? I don't know, actually. I can't remember. Maybe.
How hot of a sister are we talking about?
Actually, there's one episode, just for the sake of a gimmick, that the party was split, and 2 of us had to not be there for one episode, and then the other 2 had to be not there for the episode that followed.
Oh, that's cool. So you literally recorded with only 2 people at the table?
Yeah, so there's a whole episode featuring 2 members of the party, and I still don't really know what they did in the course of that episode.
Oh, that's going to be neat.
Fungus Finder gives $5 and says, hey Marty, how about that apple pie and baseball and chopping cherry trees? Oh wait, you're still here, Jay and Yachts. Doesn't feel good, does it? Bitch, apple pie and baseball were both things in England way before you got your greasy little mitts.
You guys never chopped a cherry tree, though.
Also,
well, I assume we must have done at some point.
But also, me and Yachts live in America. We have this every day.
Yeah, and the pop culture I bring up is pop culture that they were also probably raised on. Or, I brought up Pirates of Dark Water, and Yahtzee knew what that was. So,
yeah,
it seems like the American things became global, whereas the British things, it feels like they stayed British, except for people who really saw it.
No, a lot of British stuff has become global. It's just Yachts and I like obscure sitcom stuff.
Yes, Monty Python is a thing that's gone pretty global.
I mean,
James Bond.
I know the upper 5% of the most
Office.
popular things. The Office, yeah. Fleabag, that was good.
I have never watched Fleabag.
Look at that.
I don't know what that is.
It's about a bunch of fleas.
In a bag.
Yeah, well, let's see how much international soft power America has in the coming decades, asshole.
Boom, boom, boom. We got a 51st state. That's fine. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Gunn gives 250 RSDs and says, hi, Yahtzee.
Aww.
Hi, Gunn. Thanks for the money.
Thanks, Gunn.
And then Mr. Sadface gets things back on track by giving $2 and saying, Coronation Street or EastEnders?
Mr. Sadface, what are you doing?
I was always a Neighbours man.
Neither. I always had friends who would incessantly watch. I always viewed Coronation Street as an old person thing. My gran would like Coronation Street, but EastEnders, my annoying neighbor who has 12 kids, like the EastEnders. So,
Marty, if you need a frame of reference, Marty, we're talking about soaps. And the interesting thing I always think is that American soaps are all about rich, glamorous people banging each other.
Mm-hmm.
And British soaps are all about horrible, grimy, working-class people leading horrible, grimy, working-class lives.
Oh, yeah, it's very different.
And every episode's death, mental illness, assault, abuse. It's
yes,
every episode.
Are they also geared in the same way that American soaps are geared at stay-at-home moms or whatever?
Yeah.
I think they got much more mainstream appeal. EastEnders goes out in the evening in the BBC. And it's part of the big.
A soap's usually a daytime thing here.
Yes.
Yeah. In America, soaps are shit like Days of Our Lives and all of that bollocks.
Okay.
It's the thing that housewives watch to.
I see. Oh yeah, way more mass appeal. Then I agree with you. It's a big cultural thing in England. It's
But then there's honestly, a lot of primetime shows. Just the OC felt like it was just a fucking soap opera for teenagers. Same thing with
I guess
Gilmore Girls and Gossip Girl.
Yeah, you could think of it along those lines if you like. Andres Franco gives €6 and says, question, if each of you could impose one unbreakable commandment to one studio/publisher, which studio publisher and what commandment would it be? I would choose Ubisoft, and my commandment would be for every dollar of money that goes into a single tentpole project, you have to put 50 cents into a side project run by a creative side team.
I was literally going to say a similar thing. I would go to Rockstar And I would say you need to turn the GTA 6 team into 10 separate teams, and they each get to make a game themselves.
Yes.
That would be
You
cool.
should do a company game jam.
Yeah.
Game jam where everyone's got like a week to make a game and split themselves into teams, and the best one gets made into a full game. There you go.
They do that at Double Fine. That's what they do.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, mine would be mass layoffs would be illegal. Like, we should follow the way of Japan and like just workers having rights. Unionize.
Nice.
Fuck.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, like the first thing we cut is the CEO's salaries before we start firing people.
Straight up.
But I think that should apply to far more industries than just the video games.
Yeah.
Mr. Venom 1998 gives $5 and says, a Kingdom Come type game with pirates would be sweet. If you say so.
Was any like the Skyrim or Elder Scrolls games, did they ever have piratey stuff?
I think there's that one.
Pirates.
Isn't there like one quest in like Oblivion where you go to sleep on a boat and you wake up and the boat's like gone to sea?
Oh, that's not good.
And you have to like take over the boat? Or is that Skyrim?
I swear there's a Khajiit who talks about being a pirate. But I could be mistaken.
Did Witcher 3 have any pirate stuff?
Might have done. I can't remember. Anyway, I want to get through these quickly because we've still got quite a lot.
Yes.
Patton Pike gives $10. Says, do you think we'll ever get a historical pirate game where trying to establish a specific reputation so targets are more likely to surrender like real historical pirates did as part of the gameplay? Well, I could see it possibly being a sort of variation on the charisma mechanic. I would certainly have appreciated a mechanic in Yakuza, Pirate Yakuza, where very low-level ships would maybe just surrender instantly so you wouldn't have to fight them because it was just a fucking waste of time.
Yeah. Like
on the other hand,
like your sails almost looked different, or you flew a different flag depending on your level, and so if they saw that, they were like, "Oh, we don't want any of this."
Yeah, but on the other hand, if crews could just surrender instead of fighting them, where's the fun ship battle comes into things?
Sure,
we want to do ship battles because ship battles are fun.
Yeah,
well, that's why you said low level. I think like what would be really cool would be a pirate roguelike where each run is you sailing out into the seas, conquering different ships. And the like power-ups you're getting are different legendary crew members that you're recruiting. Yeah. And they give you new ways to fight. And then lower level ships will just surrender because of your reputation. And then you have to hunt bigger and better ships, hunt for treasure, which give you buffs. Pirate roguelike would be fucking sick. Why hasn't anyone done that?
Get on it.
Get to it.
Lazy
chat.
Miyazaki.
Well, I'm sure somebody has done. Alex Armstrong gives $2 and says, if you were pirates, what name is your crew and ship? My crew would be called the Saucy Sailors, and our ship would be called the Saucy Sue, and the flag would be one of those retro, like, saucy seaside postcards with, like, the bikini girl having their pants being pulled down by a cheeky dog.
I love this ship. I want to be on that ship.
I can't top that. I want to be on the crew.
I'll swell the deck. That sounds great.
All right then. Well, everyone's going to join the saucy sailors.
You just had such a fleshed out answer. It was really impressive.
Yeah.
Yes. I had the time it took to read it out to think of it. Max KO, member for 13 months in tip jar. Thank you very much. Alex Armstrong gives $2 and says, would Quark and Rom from DS9 be funny space pirates? No. They were like based in like a fixed business. They were just like shop owners. Surely.
I don't know any of those men are.
Although Ferengi crews in a lot of Next Generation episodes were acting like pirates, I suppose. No one wants to talk Star Trek with me?
I don't. I've never...
Okay.
Ludo was like fucking flipping her bed upside down and I lost track of time.
Okay.
You lost track of time?
The Brain Sturgeon gave €6 and says, now we are ready to head for the Horn. Way, hey, roll and go. Our boots and our clothes boys are all in the pawn. To me, Roller King, Randy Dandy O.
You have such a nice singing voice.
The tune was lovely.
Yeah.
Witticism gives $10 and says, hey all, nothing really to add this week. Keep up the good work. Pirates are fun. Excited for Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Jeez.
I'm so excited.
We got one.
Witticism.
We got one code that Casey has been using, and he's going to have a video up end of this week. They had a kind of a strict embargo for the review embargo this morning, in case he wants to talk about some more stuff. So by Friday, I believe we should have a nice beefy video.
I did think about killing Casey because he got that code. I thought about it. And then I messaged you. Marty was ill, and I messaged him being like, hey, like, Monster Hunter codes, do you reckon? And then I realized that Jess already bought me a copy, so even if you got me a code, I wouldn't be able to use it. So,
I was going to say, you should have messaged me when I was better, and I could have got you.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry, I'm just distracting myself looking up something that I actually care about.
Pornos?
GeoTony13, member for 15 months in tip jar. Thank you very much. And then Spider William 13 gives $10 and says, Yahtzee, when writing your books, do you have a voice for your characters in mind, or do those develop over time? I'm reading Differently Morphus, and Dr. Diablo really sounds like Dr. Orpheus. Yes, I think it's useful when you're writing characters to have, like, to be able to hear their voice in your head. Because I think one mark of good characterization, in my view, is that you can listen to a character's dialogue and know who that character is just from the things they say, it needing to be flagged. I also think it's when I'm doing like the audiobook, it's useful to have a face that I associate with the character as well.
Do you think of like an actor?
Like, I had a character in my first book, Mogworld, who was like a fire and brimstone preacher. When I was reading around their lines, I'd do a face like this.
Oh, you'd make a face. Gotcha.
Not like think of one.
Yes.
Do you ever get scared that your face is going to stay like that, though?
No,
The wind changes direction.
Because that shit ain't true.
Okay.
But it is true that people can hear in your voice when you've got a certain expression on your face. Like, it's often said people can hear when you're smiling. And it's true. If unlike customer service, if you talk with a smile, people can hear that you're smiling from the way your voice sounds.
Oh, you look so creepy when you do that, though. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But if you were just listening to me, you'd probably be very engaged by my very cheerful sounding voice.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be like, you're trying to sell something.
I don't think anyone enjoyed that.
You're trying to sell me car insurance.
Snake oil salesman.
I don't want it.
Mr. Peppy gives $2 and says, surprise pop quiz. Marty, what are wagon wheels?
Moon pies. Are those moon pies?
Yes, they're like moon pies, but thinner.
Waning moon pies.
Chocolate-covered marshmallow biscuit sandwich.
That's exactly what they are.
Question.
Gun, welcome to Tip Jar. Thank you very much. Shinzu Akachi gives £5 and says, Jay, will you discuss on DevHeads what the deal is with Star Citizen and how it got into the state it's in? P.S. Animators for Adventure is Nigh are killing it.
They truly are. They truly are. I'm sad I'm no longer on that animation team because I'm too busy with my own bullshit.
But you're on the Beat Boop
Star
team.
Citizen. I was thinking about Star Citizen this morning. That is really weird, Shinzu. Like, I was like, I want to dive into it because I've spent a lot of money on that game, and I'm the type of person that will just wait for. I don't do early access. I don't want to touch it. I'll happily pay for the game. I just want to wait for it to be done. And I naively did that with Star Citizen, and I'm like, I want to see what kind of state it's in. So yeah, maybe there'll be a design delve episode on it, which will be a bit more of a deeper dive than DevHeads, because I'm not sure Tina or Mikey
It's a fake
have
game.
any
It's a fake game. It's a Ponzi
foot in that race.
Tosigero 2000 gives €5 and says, are you really a pirate if you never do pirate things, like One Piece?
They got a pirate ship. They go from island to island.
They're after treasure. That's a pirate
treasure?
thing.
But did they, like, pirate people? Did they pillage people and shit?
No, they're good guys.
I think in a lot of, like, sort of family-friendly popular culture, pirate is usually just means treasure hunter with a ship.
Yeah. I'd say
Well, think about it. In Pirates of the Caribbean, the movies, they never really do any pirating. They don't take over ships and steal stuff from them and kill people. They just are in search of treasure or are hunting bad guys who are going for treasure.
Yeah. I guess they were confused as well.
Yeah.
Brad gives $2 and says, Christopher Lee, open brackets, Saruman, close brackets, witnessed that beheading. Yeah, Christopher Lee apparently had a very storied life.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't he like related to Ian Fleming and supposedly like some kind of inspiration for Bond?
He was in British
veteran.
intelligence.
Yeah.
I heard a story that on the set of Lord of the Rings, they were filming Saruman getting stabbed in the back in the whole Scourging of the Shire bit that they'd never actually made it to the final cut. And Peter Jackson was trying to direct Christopher Lee on how to sound like he's being stabbed in the back, and Christopher Lee was just like, no, that's not what a man being stabbed in the back sounds like.
Like he knew.
Source me.
Like, yes, he knew. He knew what it sounds like.
Oh,
He also had, before he died, he was in a metal band. He was a singer in a metal band.
He was all over the
He
place.
also had the most recorded sword fights in movie history. Like, he was a crazy dude. Like, what a living legend. Well, not living.
Shouts to Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Top 5 count.
Jules Rowe gives €2 and says Pillars of Eternity 2 also has a peak pirate feel.
PoE?
I never played Pillars of Eternity 1 or 2 because I don't really like isometric RPGs. I've played Avowed and I rather enjoyed that.
Isn't it
Look
weird
forward
that
to
there's
my review next week.
Paths of Exile and Pillars of Eternity are two things I don't care about, and they're both PoE.
Yeah, I know. Also, Portal of Evil was also used to be a thing.
Get that Portal of Evil out of here. What do we want a straight shot to evil for?
Because then we know where all the evil is and can note how to avoid it.
Gotcha.
Hunter Road gives $10 and says everything I wanted to bring up has already been mentioned, so here's $10 anyway. And then 3 pirate flag emojis, and he's the first person to find the pirate flag emoji amid the selection of emojis offered by YouTube. So well done doing that, Hunter Road.
Legend.
Proud of you, Hunter.
And that's all the super chats. Phew, just in time for my lunchtime. Well,
Perfect timing.
I think we're all very thoroughly enlightened on why pirates are fun and various other random bits of trivia that I happen to
A
know.
lot of little bits of trivia throughout there. That was nice.
I'm just well read. What can I say? I liked reading as a kid, and now I know lots of little things.
I'm going to start bullying you.
You too could know lots of little things if you also read books, kids.
Too busy smoking cigarettes.
Or just get it all here. Subscribe to our Patreon where you can learn lots of other bullshit.
Honestly, all you need to know, you can learn from us.
Also, watch a lot of British television growing up. There's a lot of random shit in British television you learn, especially if you watch QI.
Don't do that.
QI is amazing.
We're so close to the end.
And so I was Yahtzee Crucial. I was joined by Jay and Marty. This week I've got a fully ramblomatic coming up on the subject of Citizen Sleeper 2, which is a fun indie game that's actually got a really engaging story, even though most of the actual gameplay involves staring at a screen full of text and looking at the outside of a space station in which we are assured the things described in the text is happening. Probably like one of the only examples of a Neo text adventure, thinking about it.
A Neo-text adventure?
Yes, as in a text adventure based on the game Neo. That's exactly what I was thinking of. I've also got Yahtzee Tries on Wednesday, where I will play 2 indie games for the first time. No semi-ram this week because that was last week, but I do. There will be a compilation video of Yahtzee Try streams on Sunday, and lest we forget, the next all-new episode of Adventurers Nigh, Season 4, Episode 2, will be going out on Saturday morning in Saturday morning cartoon time.
Hot dog.
And I will be a big part of that, so don't miss out.
Absolute hot dog.
Jay, plug stuff.
I had a design delve that came out today, a few hours ago, which was on the FromSoft swamps and kind of ranking them in order of stinkiness, I guess, mechanically and thematically. Other than that, we've got a Dev Heads episode coming out on Friday that's going to be live for you guys to check out, which will be really cool. We have a guest for this one, but we're going to be doing a lot more just me, Tina, and Mikey streams for Dev Heads in the future. You know, answering your questions, maybe playing some games from a dev perspective, just to get to know you guys a little bit more. So you can look forward to that. Other than that, we got lots of stuff. I'm sure Marty knows a lot more about our weekly lineup in general. Marty, take it away.
Oh my God, that was incredible.
Good. That was some good buck passing there.
That was beautiful. Tonight, kind of hidden gems. It's a sponsored stream for a game called Dunk Dunk that has a demo at Steam Next Fest, and I'm going to be joining the Hidden Gems crew. So we're going to be playing that tonight in the normal Hidden Gems slot, and then tomorrow there will be a backdrop as well as a Nick and Jenna stream at the normal time. And then just as a reminder, we mentioned it last week, but for the next month or two, our Wednesday evening and Thursday evening streams are swapped. So Casey and I will be probably finishing Super Metroid on Wednesday. Wednesday will be our Metroid day going forward at 6 p.m. And then Firelink will be on Thursday at 7 p.m. for the near futures. Because Nick's in a pickleball recreational league. He wants to get fit and he wants to make friends and maybe kiss someone.
That's the most
Jesus
badass
Christ.
thing I've ever heard.
Think about it.
Do you think so? I think it's like one of the most middle-aged suburban things I've ever heard.
Yeah, that was some British sarcasm. Yeah, I'm surprised that went over your head.
There's like a pickleball court near the park where I live, and there's always like you go there in like Sunday mornings. It's full of old people. It's all they do with their lives.
Maybe he's in a young person. He's in a pickleball baby.
Pickleball. It's just pickleball and
the
voting
40 to
for
60 league.
Voting for fascist governments and pickleball. The only things old people do anymore.
Okay. Yep. That's out of mine.
Bye then.
Everyone.
Do you usually say something at the end? I know Eric usually's got like a thing. Can I just stop streaming?
Yeah, we're done.
I guess we just stop. Bye.
Bye, chat.
Everyone, have a good